Hello everyone and welcome to our second and our final day of our training. And so just a recap, yesterday we we talked about Google Docs and we compared it with the leading word processor na application, which is Microsoft Word. And then also we created your first activity wherein you had some collaborative document in Google Docs that you accessed and made use of. And then after, we also discussed Google Slides, and um, we also compared Google Slides with the leading slideshow presentation application that is used um, today, which is of course Microsoft PowerPoint. And for your activity, we you accessed you accessed your the activity sheet, no, the activity slides, and um, you answered the slam book na slides, and you also commented your fellow classmates na na slides. And so for today, here is the objectives for our day 2. And this includes learning how to navigate Google Forms, no, that can be used in classrooms. Google Forms is um, one of the in-demand workspace tools and platforms of Google, especially when the pandemic came. This has been used, especially, no, um, because there's no need for us to be physically interacting with each other for someone to answer this form. So we will also be learning how to make use of Google Sheets. Perhaps you as teachers, you already have class records that are automated in Microsoft Excel. So we will be comparing Google Sheets with Microsoft Excel, and we will know what are there slight differences, or are there major differences in terms of using Google Sheets versus Microsoft Excel. All right, so we shall now begin, and I hope you bear with me as I discuss the lesson for today. All right, so now we will go to Google Forms, and I'll give you a brief introduction about Google Forms before we finally create your Google Forms document. Okay, so Google Forms is a free survey tool that's part of G Suite, Google's complete Office suite. But now, no, as I have mentioned yesterday, um, last just this October 2020, around um, less than 2 months ago, the G Suite has been rebranded to the Google Workspace. So Google Forms is now under the Google Workspace, and it first started its life as a Google Sheets feature, no, in 2008, 2 years after the Sheets original launch. So Google Sheet was launched in 2006 along with Google Docs and Google Slides, and 2 years after, um, the Google Forms was born. So um, it first started, no, from spreadsheet. You could add a form to it, and then format it in a separate sheet, and you can see automatically and directly form responses in another sheet. Now, first Google Sheets and Google Forms was embedded together, no. Although Google Forms um, was just an add-on for Google Sheet. But now, in 2016, around 4 years ago, Google Forms became a standalone app as people have seen how it has been efficient in collecting responses, in collecting survey answers, no, in being an online questionnaire. So from it being just an add-on in for Google Sheet, it has become a standalone app, which we are now using up to now. It is a standalone application. Then Google Forms lets you collect information from people via personalized quizzes or surveys. So um, it allows you to gather information, to gather data coming from people for as long as you send them the link, for as long as you give to them the form link for them to answer. And so you might have personalized your quiz or your survey. So you just have to give them the link for them to answer. And so from there, you will be able to collect information and to gather this data from a lot of people. There is no restrictions in terms of the limit, in terms of the number of people or respondents who could answer to your forms. So that's the easy definition of Google Forms. Um, Google Forms is now a full-featured forms tool that comes free with your Google account. Um, if you have, of course, you can create Google Forms if you have a Google account, diba? Just like any other Google Workspace na applications, you will only be able to uh, create a Google Forms document if you have registered to Google to avail of their services. So it comes free. Um, there is no payment except if you will pay for additional storage, no, in your Google account. But by default, Google Forms is basically free. So in Google Forms, you can add standard question types, drag and drop questions in the order that you like. So um, you can add questions like question types like multiple choice. Um, they can also answer as something like fill in the blanks pwede in Google Forms, and then you can drag and drop, no, the questions in their order. If you want one question to be the first question to be asked, then you can just drag it up, or perhaps you have a question that you have um, written and you want it to be the very last question, then you can just drag it to the bottomest part, no, of the Google Form. So it's easy, and it is actually what you see is what you get kind of navigation in creating this Google Forms document. Now it lets you customize the form, no, with simple photo or color themes. You can include a photo um, on top, um, and then also you can change the color themes in whatever way you like. And then you can gather responses in forms or save them to a Google Sheets spreadsheet, no. You can link a spreadsheet uh, through the Google Sheets from the responses. So that makes it easy for Google Forms to be very flexible, and it comes handy, no, if you use Google Forms um, in perhaps as you as educators, no, or as teachers and mentors, perhaps for the quizzes of your students. Now Google Forms, you then connect, no, the information to a spreadsheet on Sheets to automatically record the answers. So the spreadsheet then populates with the responses from the quiz or survey in real time. And this makes Google Forms one of the easiest ways to save the data directly into our spreadsheet. So There is if you link it to your Google Sheets na spreadsheet, there are columns, no, for every questions that you ask, and then the row serves for every it serves for every response, or it serves for every answers to the columns of your questions. So that makes Google Forms very easy, and you can see all changes, all updates of responses in real time. So that comes handy for Google Forms. With this online tool, with this Google Forms, you can collect RSVPs. You can start surveys. You can or create quizzes for your students. With this simple online form, you can share your form via email. So you can directly share your forms if you want your quiz to be answered. You can send it via email, or perhaps you can copy the link directly and then give the link to your respondents or to your recipients. And you can also share it, no, in social media, perhaps in Facebook, and then you can ask everyone who can access such social media to participate. So if you shared it on Facebook, then you can ask the users, the Facebook users, to answer. So you have a lot of participants to take part for your survey. So and since Google Forms is an online tool, you can share and collaborate with multiple people on the same form in real time. So if you belong to a certain group, and you you have your teamwork, no, you want others, of course, to help you in the forms that you are creating. You can share it to them so that they can also edit. um, Perhaps your principal asked you, all Filipino teachers, to create a survey form for your students in your school about their level of understanding in the Filipino subject. Then your Filipino subjects team among you as teachers can make use of Google Forms um, to create such survey, no, without having to leave the comforts of your homes for as long as you're connected to the internet, without going to school or to the office for you to create your forms. As long as you have your own device and you have a good internet connection, then you can update and edit and create forms in real time. Okay. Now, some uses of Google Forms. So you can use it as a classroom quiz, just like what I do in the subject that I'm handling right now, since we are in an online class. So what I do um, in giving quizzes, no, aside from Quizzes or Kahoot, I also used Google Forms even in our midterms exam recently. um, I used Google Forms for the quiz and for the midterms. For school enrollment, perhaps there are some of you who are admin here, no, or principal, or perhaps you as teachers, you are asked to help in the enrollment processes or in the enrollment procedure. So you can use Google Forms as school enrollment. Say, for example, you want to know beforehand who wants to enroll for the next school year, so you can give out these Google Forms to the parents or to the students so that they can answer. Or this can also already serve as the school enrollment, because you can upload you can allow uploading of documents um, for your enrollment. Say, for example, a birth certificate is needed, or a copy of a birth certificate is needed. So your respondents can upload certificates. They can upload copies of their IDs or Form 137 or 138. So that can be done. Also, Google Forms can be used for event registration. No? Say, for example, there is a wedding invite now and may pagkateke na no, they want to invite online, so they can make use of Google Forms to attend such event, or there is a concert no, and they want to book tickets, then they can do so through Google Forms. In buying tickets for concerts, for movies, Google Forms can be used for such. For event feedback or evaluation, say for example, you had your concert, diba? You organized a concert for a cause, or you organized um, a movie screening or a film showing, then or perhaps your Filipino month, no, buwan ng wika na culmination, and you want to know the feedback of the participants or of the audience for improvement, no, for your improvement for next year's or for the next episode of your event. So you want to know how to improve. You want to get some suggestions and recommendations, so you can give out a Google Forms for your participants, for your audience to answer an evaluation or a feedback. Also for job application, no? Even here in the ICT, when I was tasked to help in the hiring, so what I used is the Google Forms for job application, so that it was easy for me to collect the documents that are being asked from them, or for the job seekers, so they can input their name, their contact number. So it's easy during the job hiring for me to collect the documents that were asked from them. An order form, perhaps if you have a business, no? 'Di ba? Mga teachers, meron din mga slight businesses, 'di ba? You can make use of Google Forms for to serve as an order form. So um, they can your mga suki or um, other potential buyers can order your products or services through Google Forms. For assessment, no, or for feedback and evaluation, such Google Forms can be used in even in our webinars, after every webinar, and perhaps maybe after this training. Um, you will be asked by our facilitators, Gerald and Dina, to to answer an assessment, no, for us to know in which areas we will improve for this training. So you will be asked to have an evaluation assessment. Then for research questionnaire, so ako mismo, I am I'm a student for UPOU, and actually since time immemorial, no, UPOU is a UP system wherein we don't meet physically, so we learn online. So during my thesis days, it was actually during the early days of the pandemic, no, when I was creating, or I was doing my thesis survey. And so since travel was restricted, so what I did was to send out research questionnaire through Google Forms. So I had a wider range of participants and respondents, because I made I made the survey online, no, as compared to the traditional paper and pen survey. And then my ano pa my actually my respondents during for my thesis were participants from Region 7 and Region 8, so I could not go there physically. I could not travel in Region 8. So what I did was I made use of Google Forms to serve as my research questionnaire. Now, Google Forms can also be used as a course evaluation. No? Perhaps um, um, there is a certain subject in your school that you want to evaluate, especially the teachers or the subject itself or the course itself. So Google Forms could be used for such. Party invites, di ba? What I mentioned, wedding party, birthday party, kasi teki na ngayon, or yung binyag, no? Or baptism, pwede. You can use Google Forms to create party invites. Contact information, perhaps you are um, perhaps in localities there are those na they cannot afford paying contact tracing apps, no? So they can actually make use of Google Forms to have a database or to have a list of contacts. So they can make use of Google Forms. Customer feedback, just like if you have a business and you want to know feedbacks from your customers, then Google Forms can actually also be used. And also in attendance checking, Google Forms can be used. I was the one who created our attendance node since we can already work from home in our office. So I created a Google Forms for our attendance because there is a real time timestamp, no? Wherein um, our users can log in at a specific time, so it also reflects to the Google Sheets attached to the Google Forms. So um, we made use of Google Forms for attendance checking, and there are a lot of uses for Google Forms. It depends on your needs, and one good thing about this Google Forms is that it's free. Um, there are no ads, there are no other biases. For as long as you are a Google account user, there is no limit for the number of respondents that you have. So Google Forms really comes handy, no? This is really Google Forms really change the way we interact now, especially in getting responses, in getting answers from your recipients. So Google Forms is really perhaps one of the in-demand applications now. That is also the reason why Microsoft also created their own Microsoft Forms, no? Um, to counter Google's Google Forms. So there are a lot of uses for Google Forms. Okay, so now I will be providing a demonstration on how you can create Google Forms from scratch. Okay, so this is my Google Drive, as you can see, and just like how we do it, no, in our Google Docs and Google Slides, we can create our Google Forms through this plus na new button, no, in Google Drive, and then you can um, you can create a blank form or you can choose from a template. So say for example we choose template. So there are a lot of templates that are available in the gallery. Um, we have a template for work like event feedback. There is already a ready template for you for order form, 'di ba? If you have a business and you want your customers to order or potential buyers to order, there is already a ready-made template for you. For job application, if you own a business or if you own or you're a manager of an office or you're an HR, you know, and you are hiring, so um, you can make use of Google Forms for job application. We also have time off requests, or perhaps someone is going to leave, no? So there is a template for such. Work request, maybe you are requesting for a certain job to be done for a certain amount of time, then there is a template in the gallery for work request. Also customer feedback, um, if you want to know some feedback from your customers for your product or service that you're offering, then you can there is a template for that. For personal, we have the basic contact information, no? If you are asking or needing some contact information, we have a template for that. In finding a time, say for example, in scheduling an appointment, if you are a doctor or perhaps you're a guidance counselor, no, of the school, and you want your students to book an appointment for you because you have a lot of students to attend to, no, then you can create a Google Forms through this template. RSVP and party invites, no. um, if you have some events and you want some responses from them if they are coming or not, for those you are inviting, then you can make use of these ready-made templates. um, T-shirt sign up. um, if you have t-shirt for your school, no, and you want your students to avail and you want to know what their size is, how many they are getting, then you can make use of this template. Event registration, perhaps, I'm not sure, no, but I think when you registered for this training, um, you made use of Google Forms, so there is also a template for such. And then there is a blank quiz template for education na area, no? If you want a quiz, there is also exit ticket. Siguro you have graduating students. You can, or you have for principals or administrators, you have teachers who are going to exit and they have some clearances to do, then you can make use of this exit ticket template. Or maybe assessment for a certain subject or for a certain teacher, no, teacher survey something, then you can make use of the assessment template. There is also a worksheet. um, Perhaps you have an activity that you have to do with your students, then you can give them some forms for them to submit their activities or their outputs. Then there is also a course evaluation template. So say for example you are in a college or in a university, and you want some evaluation for your class, for your subject, then there is also a ready-made template for you. Okay, but in our case, I want us to start from scratch, no, for us to really understand and grasp um, Google Forms. So we will start from scratch, and I hope you are ready. So ready your notebooks. So I'm gonna close this, and remember again remember where you created your Google Forms. So if you open your drive and you automatically or directly create your Google Forms, then that means it is in your root folder of your drive, no. But if you first create a folder, say for example my first Google Forms. So when you create a folder, and um, when you go inside that folder, no, when you click that folder, and you press new or create new, remember that such Google Forms, the document, will be saved there in such folder. Okay, but then again, our search box is very powerful in Google Drive. This has an AI embedded in it, so it is easy for you actually to search for missing Google Forms, no. So as you can see, this is now our interface of our Google Forms, and you can instantly rename your Google Forms through this. So perhaps you are you name this as your forms testing, since you're still testing your forms, so you can rename such. And as you can see, no, if we compare it to Google Docs and Google Slides, there are no more other menus or ribbons, no, or tabs. We only have the questions and responses na tabs, and it's in the It's in the center. So the very first one, the very first part is actually the title and description. So usually, if you rename your Google Forms, it also renames the very first title and description. But you can change this, and you can customize this as how you want it to appear. So say for example, we are creating an event invite, no? So say for example, buwan ng wika, buwan ng wika invitation, which is in August. Then underneath such is the description, no, wherein you can actually define or give instructions of your title. So you can actually put answer this form if you are interested to join the buwan ng wika culmination, something like that. Or in DICT, and it is actually if we are actually collecting forms, no, and this is true to other government agencies and other organizations, even may it be private or public, that you have a privacy notice, no, if you try to check RA 10173 or the Data Privacy Act, if you are collecting information, if you are collecting data, it is actually a must for you to include a data privacy notice, wherein you will inform or tell the respondent what is this for, um, why are you collecting the information, what is the purpose, are you collecting for communication purposes, are you collecting for something else. Then you can actually include that here in this description, no, you can add a privacy notice. So it's like a disclaimer that we're only collecting your information for the purpose of this event. Okay, so this is actually our toolbar, no, and it always follows you wherever you go. So this is already a question, um, and usually it is important, no, that you ask for the email address. So if you want to communicate back to them, um, then you must ask for the email address. So aside from asking here, no, your the email address of your recipient, you can actually do such in the settings na icon, no, or the gear, no. This is the gear icon, and that is actually for settings. You click on that, and under the general, no, there is an option for you to collect email addresses. So tick on that if you really there is a need for you to collect email addresses. Okay, if you collect email addresses, your recipients must log into their Google accounts. Okay, but if your Google Forms is just for it is an anonymous, no, anonymous kind of forms, then there's no need for you to collect email address. So if you would notice, if I have selected the collect email address, no, um, there is another notification under um, the description, no. This form is automatically collecting email addresses. So once you have a preview of this, um, then it will ask for you an email address, a required email address, okay, coming from your recipients. Okay, so next, this is the part where you can already ask your questions. Usually, the very first, no, question after the email address is the name. And as you can see, every time I change um, the question, no, there is an artificial intelligence that is embedded in Google Forms, and sometimes they detect what is the best type of question that um, that um, that is suggested for your question. Say for example, um, I put name no, and Google Forms automatically nominated a short answer na question type. So for short answer, um, your recipients can answer um, in any um, alphanumeric characters with shorter, I think, 5 lines of text. While for paragraph, there is an unlimited number of characters. Say for example, if you have an essay question, you must of course choose paragraph because they have lengthy answers. But for things like name or address, then you can actually use short answer type. And then there is a multiple choice type. So say for example, your question is what is your age range, no? Say for example, you're asking for age range. So say for example, 0 to 5 years old. Then you can add another no option. So 6 to 10 years old. And then you can add another option by this one, no? The one following. Um, 11 to 15 years old. Then you can add another other. So say for example, if you want an answer beyond 15 years old, then you can include the suggested other. Okay? Another type here is the check boxes, no? So what is the difference between the multiple choice and the check boxes is that in multiple choice there are radio buttons, so only one answer can be selected. But if you select checkboxes, multiple answers can be selected by your respondents. Okay, so they can answer they are both 0 to 5 years old and they are both 6 to 10 years old if you use checkboxes. But if you use multiple choice, only one of the options can be selected. And then there is also drop down menu wherein um, if we display this as preview, no, um, if you would notice, there is a drop down menu, and it just like the multiple choice, your respondents can only answer once, although it is shown aesthetically with a drop down menu as compared to um, a multiple choice type. So let's try changing. So, 'di ba, all of the options or all of the possible answers are listed already there compared sa multiple choice na there is a drop down of menu. Okay? So, you can also there is also a type for file upload. So, say for example, you are collecting their ID, no? So, there is a disclaimer. So, you should continue if you agree to such, because respondents will have to sign in, no? For them to upload files, they have to sign in. So you should confirm that too. So say for example, your question is, or your instruction is, upload your most recent valid ID, no? And it is a file upload, so you can choose it in such a way that you only have a specific file type that can be uploaded. So another series of follow-up questions will be asked from you, know, which specific file types are you will you accept. Pwede document like .doc or .docx, spreadsheet, mga .xls or xlsx, mga PDF lang ba? So you can actually choose many you can choose which ones are uploadable. And then you can choose the maximum number of files. You'll just have to limit to one. Pwede. Or Are you limiting it to 5 or 10? The maximum number of files is 10 that can be uploaded in one file upload. Although if you want to create another file upload na type of question, then you can do so. You can also nominate the maximum file size, no? Pwede, there are options here. But please remember, no, that the files that will be uploaded here will be uploaded to your Google Drive na account. So remember, if they are uploading a lot of files, like if you're allowing 10 gigabytes, no? So remember that it will also be taken from your available na storage. Okay, so if you have 15 gigabytes of storage, then someone uploads a 10 gigabyte file to your Google Forms, then it also means that you only have 5 gigabytes left in your Google Drive. Okay? So what else? A linear scale. Most especially, no, um, if you are asking for a level, no, or a range. So say for example, um, um, how satisfied are you about um, about the program? Then you can put a label with 1 as the lowest and 5 as the highest, di ba? Because there are some point system na 1 is the highest while 5 is the lowest, so you can indicate such. Okay? And then multiple choice grid can also be selected, wherein there are columns, no, of choices, and only one per column must be selected, so you can choose the multiple choice grid. You can also choose checkbox grid if you want multiple columns to have various answers, and your respondents can choose as many as they want. Then that can also be done. Then date picker can also be selected. So say for example, when do you want uh, the program to culminate, diba? So they can choose the month, day, or year that they want. So there is a picker, a calendar picker. And then they can also you can also nominate the time. What time, or say for example, what time are you available, and some sorts of those. Now going back, say for example, we have a multiple choice question, no? Say for example, our question is who killed Magellan as the question, and you have choices like is it Lapu-Lapu or um, Rizal or Bonifacio, no? For example purposes lang. So there are buttons here, no, below. You can choose this if you want to duplicate, no, the same question. So if we duplicate it, there is another set with the same question and with the same answers, no. um, that's what happens if you click on the duplicate. This one naman, as you see, it is a trash can or trash bin. If you click on that, it will delete the specific question. So yung dinuplicate natin kanina, nawala na. And then we have the required, no. If you click on required, then your recipients could not submit the form if they have not answered this. Meaning to say, this is an important question that must not be missed. So you click on required. So if you would notice it, if you are viewing it already as a form, then may asterisk siya beside the question, no? Say for example, itong who killed Magellan, there will be an asterisk na color red because you required it. Okay? Then there are also other available options, no, for every question type. You can include a description. Say, for example, this happened. If you want to give some clues or hints, this happened um, um, during the pre-colonial period, then you can do so. If you have some disclaimers or if you have some hints or clues or additional instructions, you can do that in the description. Then you can also you can go to the section based on the answer, no? Actually, um, you can add a section, no? Say for example, you have a first section for the basic questions, no? Just like the name, email address, age, mga basic contact information. You can add a section if you are done with such section and you want to go to the very meat. Then you can add a section by clicking on this, itong the one that is always following you, no? The toolbar. The floating toolbar. Um, you can do so by clicking on add section. But for this time, I will delete it first, no? Okay. And then you can shuffle the option order. So say for example, you have these options, no, and you want na it is on random. Say for example, mauna si Bonifacio or mauna si Rizal, then you can shuffle the options by clicking on the shuffle option or ticking on it. Okay? Then let's go back sa ating floating toolbar, no? So if you are done with this question, no, you can add another question through the plus na icon. So say for example, your next question is who killed Lapu-Lapu naman this time. So you have another question and you can change the question type. So say for example, um, you want a short answer and you want to add a description, explain your answer. So pwede yan, it is optional. Okay? And then you can also import questions in the floating toolbar, no? Say for example, you already have existing Google Forms in your Google Drive. So you can select such Google form and you can import also questions from such. Okay? Then we have another title and description. Say for example, you don't have a question, but you just have some text to include, or you have some matters that you want to indicate in such part. You can do so. Say for example, the title is reminder. You only have 5 minutes to do this, so you can do so. And then you can add another question right after this reminder. So pwede po yan. And then you can also add a picture, no? You can add a picture in your questions. So say for example, um, you want a picture to be included either here or here, pwede. You can upload in your local or pwedeng URL. Pwedeng camera din if you have a camera, and there are other options. Okay? Just like the Google Drive. If you have pictures in your Google Drive, then you can do so. And then you can also add a video, especially na si YouTube is under Google, no? You can include searching here and then adding it into your Google Forms na question. And then you can add a section as what I have earlier mentioned. Say for example, your first part, no, is identification if you have a quiz. Then your second part is multiple choice. So you can break them into sections for aesthetics purposes and for para malinis, no, tingnan. So you can do so, and then you can change the way. Say for example, um, your um, your respondent is done with such section. So what happens next? They can go back to section 1, or will they proceed to section 2, or they can instantly submit form after answering section 1. So there are choices if you include sections. Okay? And then you also see icons on top, no, on the upper right. The first one is for you, itong parang paint palette na icon, no. This is where you can customize the theme. So if you want to have a header image, no, so you can just go to the header and then you can choose from the available sa themes, or you can upload, or if you have um, you can search for photos or you can upload, pwede. Um, say for example, I'm gonna insert this, no? There is already picture and available. So, merong nagde-detect ng AI natin sa Google Forms ang mga colors, no, na nandyan sa header. So, they will also nominate theme colors. So, the theme color is itong parang ano, no, itong color sa section natin. So, itong color na to nakikita dito sa picture. So, binasa ng AI natin para coordinating, no, ang colors. Then you can choose the background color. These colors are also slightly lighter, no? Although this is still these colors are still found um, in your picture, in your header image, but it it is slightly lighter para hindi naman masakit sa mata. Um, but yeah, Google has its own artificial intelligence embedded in its Google Forms, changing the colors and style. Now, sa fonts then, although it is limited, but you can um, you can choose some fonts for you to use. Although ang basic na default okay na, 'di ba? So yan, if you want to add a header image dito lang sa customized theme na palette. And then the second the second button is the preview, wherein if you want, no, to see how it should appear, no, your forms, then you click on the preview and this is how it would actually look like ang inyong Google Forms. Okay, if you want to test, no, your forms, then you can do it here. And then we also have the settings or the gear icon, no? So going back, if you want to collect email address and you want um, um, to have a receipt, no, a response receipt, then you can also tick on such if, and there is a sub menu if respondent requests for it, then pwede. Um, or if by default gusto nyo na meron talagang email, no, confirmation from them um, to collect email address, then you can choose always. Then require sign in. So kami, since we are members of the DICT domain, so meron kaming option, no, to choose lang for only members of our domain who can answer the um, this form. But if you want na hindi, if you want everyone can answer this, then you untick that. If you want naman na more than one response, no, ang pwedeng ma-answer by anyone, then this must be unticked. But if you want niya, especially for quiz, no, para hindi makabigay ng madaming various sets of answers ang student mo, then you can limit it to one response lang. And when you limit it to one response only, such respondent must is required to sign into Google. Now you can choose what happens if respondents can edit after submitting, no, the form that you ask. Can they be able to edit it if, say for example, they remember that there are some changes, so can they edit? Or if this is a quiz, no, I think um, you should untick this, or dapat hindi tong naka-choose kasi if you don't allow your students to answer again or some edits in their answers, so this must be unticked. Then if you want your respondents can see the summary charts, no, and text responses from other participants as well. Say for example, may mga charts kasi na lumalabas summarizing the answers. If you want them to see also how others have answered, then this must be ticked. Okay. For presentation, you can select on show progress bar. If kasi parang may bar no sa baba kung saan na, especially if you have sections in your Google Forms, then the show progress bar will guide them on where they are now. And then you can also select shuffle question order. So say for example, random ang order ng mga questions mo, pwede. So itong show link to submit another response, this will only activate if if we do not allow one response now. So if we untick this, um, it will now activate another link no to submit another response. But you can also untick that. Confirmation message is when when someone submits and what appears no after they submit. So say for example, thank you, your response has been recorded. So ito ang mag-a-appear as a message no if someone successfully submits his or her response to your Google Forms. Okay? And then finally sa settings, you can actually make your Google Forms a quiz, especially sa mga teachers and educators, no? If you want that as a quiz, then you can do so. So what happens if you transform it or you change it into a quiz, you can release the grade, no? You can choose immediately after each submission. Pag may nag-submit, your students can see their grades immediately. Or pwedeng later then, you will still have manual review and then you will release the scores once you have manually checked on them. And then if you make this a quiz, respondents can see if they have missed questions, no? Pwede nilang makita or hindi, especially if yung mga hindi naka-asterisk, no? If you didn't require your question to be answered, then perhaps they might miss the question, so do you want them to see such items? Do you also want to see them the correct answers, no? But if since it would be better na hindi nila makita ang correct answers, because say for example may maunang student, no, and so he or she already knows the answer, so she might be able to share this to his or her classmates, no. So it's better na hindi nakikita ng mga students ang correct answers, and you can actually review to them or tell them after once everyone is done what are the correct answers. And then point values, because once you transform a Google Forms into a quiz, you can assign point values. So you can assign a one question with 10 points ba or 5 points. You can do so. So if we save this, remember that this is already a quiz, no? And may bagong nag-appear na total points. So in every question, um, may mag-a-appear na ganito na answer key. So kanina wala to, but since binago natin siya, ginawa natin siyang quiz, meron ng ganito. So sa answer key, this is where you can assign the value of points. So say for example, this question has 1 point lang ba, or does it have 5 points for the total number of items for your Google Forms na quiz? Pwede. And then at this part, you will select the correct answer. So multiple answers can be actually selected, but say for example, who killed Magellan? The correct answer is Lapu-Lapu. So you check on that, magi-green, and may check, that means that is the correct answer. Then you can also add an answer feedback, no? Say for example, your feedback is correct, it was in something, it was in 1600 ba something when this happened. You can add a link, no, to support such answer. And then you can also add a video from YouTube showing a documentation perhaps that supports the answer. Okay? So for correct answers, if say for example your student has answered a correct answer, you can actually also put a feedback. So say for example, congratulations, you are correct. So pwede din ganun. Okay, then you don't forget to save kasi hindi magre-reflect. So yan, if you would see um ayan pala, incorrect pala dapat to kasi nasa incorrect siya na category. Incorrect, it was 1600. So you can actually add links or videos for every incorrect or either correct answer. Okay, so when your student answers a correct one, it will congratulate him or her. If incorrect naman, there is another description, although that is optional. Okay, so yun lang naman ang changes if it is already a quiz. Okay, then itong send button naman, ito na. So um, since chinek na natin no kanina na email address will be collected, so this is by default will collect email address. But if you already know the email addresses of your students, no, you can just put in or type in here the email addresses separated by comma or semicolon. So pwede, and then they will receive in their inbox an email for them to answer this. Then you can change the subject and you can change the message. Say for example, ano ba? Say for example, you only have until today to answer this quiz. O pwede yan na message. Pwede nyo i-include ang form in the mail, no? Kasi parang merong interface within the email message na parang nagbe-preview na sa forms mismo. Pwede. You can include it as form in email. And then this kung yung forms nyo is a collaborative form, say for example, your groups of teachers are in charge for this form. So pwede kayo mag-add ng collaborators. And dito when you add collaborators or editors, this is where you type in their email addresses so that they can be able to access such, they can be able to edit your forms. Okay? So you can also copy the link, no? You can copy the link. Don't forget na there are restrictions by default, no? You are the only ones that can see this, and also where you shared it with sa mga collaborators. So you can choose among the available dito kung how you want it. So, 'di ba? It is again lengthy yung tinuro ko kahapon. You can shorten URLs through tiny.cc or tinyurl or bit.ly or bit.ly. Yan, pwede nyo i-shorten doon. Okay? And then, ano pa ba? Meron ding link, no? After dito, after sa email na icon, meron ding link wherein you can copy this directly. Pwede nyo siyang i-shorten, no? But it is not customized. So, as what I've mentioned, pwede naman doon sa sa tiny.cc or other shortening URLs na sites. Pwede. Pwede nga i-share din sa Facebook, pwede sa Twitter. So, if you know, you can also embed, no, if you are a web developer or you know websites, pwede nyo din siyang i-embed, no, na makikita siya sa within your website. Pwede. Okay? Yan ang nasa send form. Then if you can see these three dots menu, no, there are also additional um, items that you can do or some actions that you can do. Meron ditong undo. Pwedeng make a copy. Say for example, you want a copy of these forms that you will edit in the future. You click on this for you to have another copy, and kung saan to makakopy is the same folder, no, kung saan din nakalagay ang original na forms. Then you can move it to trash if you want to delete this. You can move it to trash. Pwede ding get pre-filled link. So once you click on get pre-filled link, merong mga default answers, no, that you want if you want to nominate default answers, pwedeng get pre-filled link ang piliin nyo. You can also print these forms if you want some guide. So aside doon sa send no, you can add collaborators here. There are other ways for you to add collaborators or your fellow workers to work on these forms. Pwede. Script editor, if you are good in JavaScripting, no, or in Google Scripting, you can use such. If you want to add some enhancements sa forms mo na hindi kaya ng basic lang, if you have an advanced um, level of scripting, then you can make use of this Google Apps na scripting. But if medyo madugo sa ilong, then you can leave it as it is kung anong default na available lang sa Google Forms. You can also add some add-ons, no? Although kami sa DICT bawal kaming mag-add, it has been whitelisted, no, but there are a lot of add-ons that you can choose. So say for example, you want a time limiter, no, for your form. Say for example, it is a quiz and you want na hanggang 5 p.m. lang today kayang or pwedeng answeran ang forms. Meron tayong form limiter. Madaming available na add-ons. If you are a maths teacher, a mathematics teacher, and you want to include equations, merong mga forms dyan, you just have to search. Madami talaga. There are a lot of, add-ons for your forms. Pwede, meron din QR code generator. Madami class na add-ons. If you could not do it sa scripting, kasi you don't have a background in scripting, then perhaps available na siya with add-ons. You can do so sa add-ons. Okay, madami. But I could not show an example, no, kasi ganun din, these are blacklisted. So madami, you just have to explore. And then ano ba tong preferences? Okay, so preferences, may mga settings, no? Yung collect email address, that can be asked again here. Sa questions, pwede nyong lahat ng questions, no, required. So if tinatamad na kayo na i-require individually per question, you can make all questions required. And you can also nominate the default quiz point value. Yan. So if gusto nyo lahat ng questions, no, may specific value lang, then you can nominate how many points you have for every question. So yun lang po about Google Forms. So I hope you have learned a lot. Once again, my tip is that you will not be able to learn if you will just listen, or you will just um, know by theories, no. You really have to apply, and if you really want to learn, then experience is the best teacher. You have to make use of the application. You have to hover such applications, and you have to experience it by yourself for you to be able to know. Ako mismo, when I learned about this Google Forms, no, I didn't watch any YouTube video, I didn't watch any demo, I didn't read any articles to support such. What I did, and what I really do actually in most applications that I'm a stranger of, no, if I've known of a certain application and I do not know how to hover such, I don't know how to navigate. What I do is I really make use of the application, and I explore what happens if I do this and what happens if I do that. So if in case you are taking the Google Certified Educator na exams, the second part is actually reserved for um, it is reserved for actual na application, no? You will be given a scenario or a task wherein you have to do this. And so para hindi kayo mga pa, no? You should familiarize yourself with how such application is used, how such application or how such process is done. Mm-mm. So, um, yun. Say for example, ayan, there is a part there na you have to, how do you change the settings of um, your Google Forms na may default point value. So, ayan. I just told you how. So, you really have to explore. Paano maglagay ng header image? Anong icon ang pipindutin? So, mga questions like that, that is um, very much um, um, likely to happen. Okay? Now, going back, by the way, meron tayong isang tab, and this is the responses, no? So, in this responses na tab, this is where all your responses will appear, and there will be a summary. There will be charts that will appear depending on every in every question, no? In every item. Say for example, 30% ang nag-answer ng question number 1 mo na yes, or 70% ang nagsabi na male sila. So mayroong mga pie charts, may mga bar graphs na mag-a-appear depending on the answer. So for now hindi siya makita, no, but ano ba? I think I have some examples na lang, no, para makita talaga ang responses. Let's go to my drive again. So say for example, may webinar kami last time, ano, um, may ginanap kami na webinar on a certain topic. Perhaps, saan ba dito yung madami-dami para ito na lang. Say for example, ito. Kasi meron kaming online freelancing na webinar last time, no? Just recently. Last November ata to. So, makita mo sa responses, we had 178 na registrants, no? This is kasi for the registration for possible attendees. So, if you can see, I skipped those, no, na mga names kasi syempre naman you can create charts or graphs from email addresses or names, but in items like this, gender sa mga demographics, no, merong chart na nagsasabing 61.2% of the registrants are female, and then there is 38.8% na male. So age demographics, meron ding bar, no, in how many have answered their age. May mga counts na if how many answered such age. So, meron din mga name of agency or organization if may mga similar, no? So, for example, itong none, wala silang agency or organization. So, there are 39 of them who answered such. Meron din mga affiliations, no? Like, most of them are students, mga ganun. So, basically, ang mga demographics na types of questions, magbibigay ng graphs and charts. Okay? And there's also an option there, no, for your students or for your respondents if they can also see this similar na graphs or charts. Okay, and then as you can see, no, merong spreadsheet na icon sa tabi ng ating responses. It is because you can actually link, no, the answers to a spreadsheet. So say for example dito lang sa marami, no, um, If I click on the spreadsheet na icon, dito na lalabas um, lahat ng mga answers ng ating mga respondents, no? And i-hide ko lang tong column na to ha, because these are sensitive information, ang mga email address. And itong contact number din, i-hide ko din. So, ayan. The very first column is for the timestamp. Okay? This is for the timestamp. So, this is the real time wherein kung kailan sinagot ng ating mga respondents, no? They answered it at a specific date, or they answered it on a specific time. So that's when they answered sa timestamp natin. Then mag-appear din in every column their question, and yun, mga first name nila and their address and gender. So per row there is a specific respondent, and per column is your questions that you ask, no? So yun lang po. So Google Sheets is embedded directly. There is a corresponding Google Sheets for your Google Forms, no? And this is updated in real time. If say for example, may biglang sumagot, no? While you are accessing your Google Sheets, then it will also appear na meron ding updates dyan sa baba. So it really happens in real time. So kaya din na ginawa naming attendance, no, for attendance checking ang Google Forms namin. It is for the reason na meron siyang timestamp, and hindi madodoktor ang timestamp kasi. So yun lang po. So that's it for our Google Forms na topic. So I hope you have learned. Maybe you can include in our chat panel or in our comment box kung did you learn something, or do you have an additional learning, kasi perhaps some of you have already made use of Google Forms. Then please let us know in our comment panel so that we can check is there, or do you have a clarification that you want. So yun po.